people gathering at a march for Lolita, fighting to free the whale from a South Florida aquarium. Lolita has been living in a tank for more than 40 years.
And now some animal advocates believe it's time she retires and heads back into the wild. 7's Ashley Morrison has that story.
The Miracle March for Lolita kicked off in Virginia Keys Saturday morning. Hundreds of supporters were walking and holding up signs for the Free Lolita March.
She's been captive for over 40 years. And it's not right. We need to do something about it.
Lolita was captured off the coast of Washington in 1970 when she was about 4 years old, and she's been alone in her tank since 1980.
The Miami Seaquarium wants to keep Lolita one of its star attractions for decades, but animal rights activists are determined to see her set free.
Many offers has been made to buy back Lolita with money, and they don't want money. So we're trying to raise awareness and put social pressure.
The 49-year-old orca has been living in the smallest orca tank in the world for the past 44 years, but she is now closer to freedom with the proposal for her release and retirement. And activists say there is a plan to safely and gradually ease her back into open waters.
Lolita has been in captivity since 1970. I mean, she deserves a break, and her retirement is very well planned. So it's not a crazy idea to send her back to Washington. She'll be with her trainers and her vets, so it's very doable.
We have a very protected cove within a bay, very calm, peaceful waters where her sea pen will be located. And that will be her first place where she'll get re-familiar with her waters. And it'll just be a matter of time and her ability to build up her stamina, her strength, and gradually we'll take her out accompanied further and further out until she shows she's catching her own fish and she's fully able to swim anywhere she wants.
But Robert Rose, the Seaquarium curator, says setting her back in open waters would be irresponsible.
This is really a misconception that this group has, is that she's going to be freed, and that's just not the case. I mean, that would be probably the most irresponsible thing that we could do with this animal.
Lolita also could likely become protected under the ESA, which would mean she cannot be used in a theme park to generate revenue, a restriction that may require further legal action. In Virginia Key, Ashley Morrison, 7 News.
Advocates march for the release of the Miami Seaquarium's Lolita today. Hundreds turned up for the march at Virginia Key Beach Park. Animal advocates have been fighting for Lolita's release for decades. CBS 4's Maribel Rodriguez reports.
Free Lolita!
More than 1,000 people gathered in Virginia Key, all for one cause.
Free Lolita! We came from Lolita. Let her go! Free Lolita!
Today, we become a movement. An anti-captivity movement that is global and nationally put together.
In its first year, the Miracle March for Lolita attracted animal lovers of all ages, all walks of life, and even from Hollywood to join their cause.
I'm an animal lover, and I've watched our world become a really brutal place where humans have no regard for other living things, and it breaks my heart on a daily basis. But then I come to something like this, and I see these amazing people who took their time and they're passionate, and it restores my faith in humanity.
Their mission to free Lolita, the most famous orca who's been living at the Miami Seaquarium for more than 40 years.
I fully believe that the way to learn about animals is to learn about them in the wild, because what they do here in seaquariums and at SeaWorld isn't what they do in the wild.
Lolita has been in that tank from Hurricane Andrew to storms, and it's just been a disaster. It's like a person living in a bathtub. She can hardly turn around. The tank is substandard, and these people are so wrong, and it's so cruel. And we have to get her out.
We spoke with the curator at the Miami Seaquarium who has been by Lolita's side for more than 20 years. What would happen to Lolita if she is freed?
She'd die.
Why?
She's not prepared on this plan at all. They're talking about taking her to an unsterile pen. You're talking about change. I mean, she is an older animal. She's well cared for here. She is not in any position. She is considered a non-releasable animal by us and by the National Marine Fisheries Service.
And we're told while this march was going on, 6 others were happening across the country in solidarity, including in London. At Virginia Key Beach, Maribel Rodriguez, CBS. 4 News.
The decades-old fight over Lolita the whale may soon hit a milestone. This ahead of a big decision later this month. And today, animal advocates rallied near Lolita's home, calling for her release. Let's get right to it. NBC6 reporter Laura Rodriguez. She's live now at the Miami Sea Aquarium with more. Laura?
Keith, activists here earlier today say this was much more than a protest. They call this an anti-captivity movement, and hundreds marched calling for Lolita's freedom. But this aquarium says this is her home.
Lolita's making a splash again. This time, animal rights activists say she could be one step closer to freedom. At the end of this month, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is scheduled to decide if Lolita is part of an endangered group of whales.
We are hoping to finally have that decision that includes Lolita in the listing, which means that she'll finally be protected from harm and harassment, just like her wild family.
But Miami Seaquarium curator Robert Rose says her listing as endangered does not necessarily mean she will be released.
The National Marine Fisheries Service, which is the one that's responsible for the rulemaking, has come out and supported our position and come out and said that she is a non-releasable animal.
Activists have protested outside the Miami Seaquarium for decades, calling Lolita the world's loneliest orca. Many often say the whale's tank is too small.
She's stranded. She's stuck there. She needs to go home.
She's been a slave of 44 years, but today, our sheer numbers spoke for themselves.
The Seaquarium, however, says the real problem is what's happening in the Pacific Northwest, where animal rights organizations want to send the killer whale.
I mean, we've got a group of killer whales up there that are endangered, and 10 years ago they were over 100. Today they're in the 70s. I mean, that's 20% of those animals have died in the last 10 years.
And activists say they have no reason to believe Lolita would not survive under their plan to send her back to the Pacific Northwest. And meanwhile, they vow to keep fighting until Lolita is free. Reporting live in Virginia Key, Laura Rodriguez, NBC6 South Florida.